people? Welcome back to the G&C Family Farms. As we say around here, what happens on the farm stays on the farm. But not today. We're going to let it all hang out. It is Hump Day. It's Wednesday, the 21st of January. Wow. It's been a minute, hasn't it? Well, I told you that I probably wouldn't do videos on the last video because we were getting ready to go on a trip. We left out Thursday morning at bright and early at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we made it to our daughter's house. It was about 1:30 in the afternoon, their time, which would have been 2:30 here. But yeah, we had a great trip down and a great trip back safely. Praise the Lord for that. And while we were down there, we had a great time visiting with our daughter and son-in-law and our grandbabies. Our granddaughter came over several times to the hotel and got to swim with Carmen, and they got to spend some time. And Carmen took down her bead set, and they made bead bracelets type stuff. So yeah, they had a great. We just had a great time all together. We also weren't just down there to celebrate Christmas with our daughter, but also with our son. Grandson had his birthday, so we had a birthday party for him, and he's just growing so fast. Can't believe it's already been 6 years. It's crazy to think about it, that he's growing up so fast before our eyes. But yeah, we had a great time down there. We didn't get to do any really sightseeing, except for Saturday night. We decided to go out and get something to eat, and we was looking at a restaurant, and so we went downtown, which was interesting because the restaurant was packed, and so I guess they must have had good food because we didn't go there. There were several different restaurants down there. You know, when we're on vacation or, go somewhere, we always try to eat somewhere that we don't normally have around here. Now we've had Golden Corral before, where we used to live at, so, but they closed it down, and so we went to a Chinese steakhouse. Yeah, it was a different atmosphere, and we sat down and we looked at the menu, and there wasn't nothing really for Carmen to eat, because she's very finicky. So we just got up and left. And so I was like, okay, so what are we going to do here? So we ended up just deciding to go to the Golden Corral and eat. Wasn't really, I mean, the only thing that I did enjoy was the steak. They had ham, which was good. But the other stuff, nothing to write home about. It wasn't like, oh man, Golden Corral. The ice cream machine was down. They didn't have much desserts. Of course, we did go towards the evening time. I mean, it was, I can't remember what time it was. I want to say 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I don't know. So maybe that's the reason why they just didn't have a bunch of stuff out or whatever. But yeah, we got to do that. And learned something new. I have to keep this on because it is cold. Not as cold as it was yesterday, but today is a short-lived warm. I mean, we're not in the 50s or anything crazy like that. We're going to only get to 20s, so they're calling it a heat wave. But I'm like, I don't know about a heat wave, but it's still cold to me. Especially when I'm running kerosene heaters and got the fire going and stuff. Yeah. But we were heading down to Tennessee, and my wife gets anxious when she ever travels. She gets nervous and stuff like that, and so she's always kind of getting on me about my speeds and getting on me about this or that. Finally, we stopped for a break, and I said, you know what, you're going to drive. I'm going to let you just drive. You can drive. I said, you drive for a little bit, and I'll drive again and finish it up. She ended up finishing driving it all the way to Tennessee, which I drove for about an hour and a half, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try something new. I'm just gonna let her drive. So on the way home, I just decided, you know what? Save myself a headache. You know, I don't have to have responsibility behind the wheel because that way I don't have to hear it. So I just let her drive. And I told her, I said, well, you know, because it's a 6-hour drive, because it's an hour drive just from here to just to get to Columbus. So a little bit past Columbus, actually. I'm hearing something. I don't know what it is. Might be like there's a cat on the other side of the barn. Trying to get in on this side. Yeah. Yeah, I decided to just let her drive, and I said, you know, if you get tired, let me drive home, you know, halfway or whatever. We'll do 3 hours and 3 hours, whatever. That was the plan originally, was to drive for 3 hours and then let her drive for 3 hours. And but yeah, she drove all the way home. She wasn't tired. She said, no, I'm fine. Whatever. I don't. You know, she thought it would be easier for me. She used the thing that she thought it'd be easier for me to sit there and relax, and that way it wouldn't my back injury and stuff like that. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if I'm sitting here or over there in the driver's seat. We all know the reason why you're driving. So yeah, I learned something new that really helped out the travel time. Just let her drive. If she wants to drive, and if she gets tired, she'll let me know. But she never did let me drive again. So, and it's the same way around, you know, when we're going around town here or something. You know, I'm like, you know, and I always make jokes about it because I'm like, and I'll make little comments like, "Gee, I didn't know that. Man, I wonder how I got across town by myself. My little driver helper, you know." I love her to pieces, but she's hilarious. Well, that was that was a red light you just went through, or you didn't make a complete stop on that stop sign. And I'm like, whatever, you know. So, yeah, I learned just, you know what, if she wants to drive, let her drive. Round here, I drive. Okay, that's all there is to it. But yeah, it was, like I said, we had a great time all around. I mean, it was just a really good time. We came back on Sunday morning. We left out of there. I wanted to leave a little earlier, but we got out of there about 7 and got back here it was about 3:30 our time. So it was a good time. Like I said, the weather, you know, we were, Friday night, we were actually talking about maybe leaving out Saturday morning. Because there was talks that, you know, snow and stuff like that, and we didn't want to get stuck in that. And we did have snow here, but it wasn't nothing like major snow. It was just, it covered the ground. Down there, we didn't get any snow or anything. It rained all day Saturday, though. It was just a rainy, or no, it wasn't Saturday. It was Friday night. It rained down there. It rained and rained. Another thing is, on Friday we actually went to our granddaughter's school and got to see her get her awards, which was really neat. So we got to see that, and she was, of course, embarrassed about us being there. She saw me with my old phone out, and she was like, but yeah, we got to see her that too. I almost forgot about that. But yeah, we thought about leaving out Saturday morning because we were afraid that we might run into bad weather. But luckily, we decided not to do that. We just stayed all day Saturday, and that way, me, our granddaughter, and Carmen, and got to swim all day over to the hotel. And Friday night, here was something interesting that I thought I'd talk about. Is Friday night, we got back to the hotel, and our granddaughter came over with us and swim with Carmen, and I got in the hot tub. It felt so good. I finally got in the hot tub because, like I said, we didn't do that on Thursday. So I got in the hot tub for about an hour. Felt great. Really relaxed my muscles and everything. I really love getting in the hot tub. And so I said, well, I'm going to go back up to the room. You guys can come back up when you get done. Yeah, there was a bunch of people showed up to stay there. They were having, I guess, a birthday weekend or birthday party weekend. These were adults and a bunch of kids. And yeah, luckily I had gotten out of the hot tub when I did, because I wouldn't have been so happy. I've stayed in several hotels. I know, like at the YMCA, no kids are allowed in the hot tub. You have to be a certain age to get into it. Yeah, they didn't care. They let their kids just run rampant. And I mean rampant. So, yeah, they just basically was running to the hotels. One kid got thrown out. And like I said, Friday night it was raining. It was cold. It wasn't warm down there. It was cold. And it was a cold rain. And one of the kids, I was getting stuff out of the car, and I was sitting in the car for a minute. And there was a kid who got tossed out of the door there by the pool and out to the parking lot area, butt naked. Yeah, there was one kid that ran over to their car and had underwear on. It wasn't swim trunks. So needless to say, Saturday when we decided to go, I was like, well, I don't think I'm gonna really get in the hot tub. I don't feel like getting in the hot tub. But I ended up going down and was like, you know what, I'll go down and sit in the hot tub for a little bit. It sounds like fun. Or get in the pool, whichever. I didn't get in the pool. Went to get in the hot tub, and after turning on the jets, and it was cold. I'm like, whoa. I'm not into ice baths. I could never do ice baths. I'm too old for that, because I think that'd throw me in a heart attack, because it almost threw me in a heart attack. And I shouldn't say cold, but it was not hot. Hot tub, you get it hot. The key word is here, hot. Not hot at all. It was not hot. And so they brought towels, because these people used all the towels up. Wasn't considerate. I don't know where they did with the towels, because they weren't left in the dirty laundry, because I overheard them talking about it. And I will also say this: when my wife went up to ask for some towels for Carmen and Mia, the manager of the hotel said she wanted to apologize to my wife and to our family. And she said, what do you mean? She goes, well, I saw on video what happened. And she goes, it was, they got kicked out of the hotel the next day. On Saturday morning, they got kicked out, because they were supposed to be there all day Saturday. Saturday morning, the kids were in there running and jumping in the pool, in the hot tub, and I'm like, oh, great, this is going to be an all-day thing, I guess. Well, I guess I'm like, But anyways, the guy brought towels down to us, and I went to him and I said, hey, the hot tub's not hot. Is there a way you could turn that up or something? And he said, he said, let me check it. And he checked it. He said, it's not hot, and he checked the water. Needless to say, I guess the hot tub got broken. No surprise there. So these kids ruined the hot tub for the other guests. Sunday morning we were checking out, and I saw the guy, and he's like, hey, I got the hot tub fixed for you. And I'm like, thank you. I'm like, great, I ain't going to get joy out of it, because we're leaving. Because I went to the bathroom and downstairs, and so before we headed out on the road, yeah, I was not too happy about it, but, parents need to be accountable, and thank gosh, I don't know why they didn't get kicked out the night before because the things they were doing. Um, yeah, yeah. Well, but anyways, like I said, all around we did have a great time. I mean, yes, there were some little hiccups like the my little driver helper, um, or the people letting their kids just run rampant in the hotel, and because my wife, that was another reason why we talked about maybe just leaving Saturday because of everything that happened on Friday night. Because they were rude to Carmen and me, our granddaughter, and so they were being, these kids were being kind of, I guess, buttheads to our children, and so yeah, needless to say, my wife was really upset about it, and so, but did they take off any off the bill? No, they didn't. Thanks for asking, but they didn't. It would have been nice at least if they would have knocked off, $100 or maybe $50, or give us like some kind of coupon or something to come back or whatever. But again, that's just the difference in the times that we're living in. It used to be that they would do stuff for you. On our way home, we stopped at Cracker Barrel. Now I know I'm probably going to rub some of you wrong, okay? I used to love Cracker Barrel. As a matter of fact, one of our kids gave us a gift card for Cracker Barrel. No, I did not use that gift card because I wasn't planning on going to Cracker Barrel. But it was on the way home, and I really was wanting something good. I wanted something. I said, we'll just stop here at Cracker Barrel. I said, we got to all go to the restaurant, so let's just go there. And I said, food was good. It was a busy afternoon for a Sunday, of course. You got church people, and, our waiter, I really don't know about him. He was a little, didn't seem like, I don't know if he was new on the job or whatever, and really it didn't really fall on him so much. I think it was the kitchen mostly. Our food came out. Now we had ordered appetizer of fried pickles. The fried pickles showed up almost 8 minutes later after our food was already on the table. Which was a good thing because that was what I got to eat, fried pickles. Because my meal was cold. And yes, I mean cold. Okay, I'm not talking like the hot temperature wise. I'm talking cold. I ordered I can't remember, some kind of sampler plate. You get choice of sides. I got dumplings and the country fried chicken. And mashed potatoes were supposed to have brown gravy. Mashed potatoes were cold. Looked like they'd been sitting around forever. Did not get the gravy to go on top of it. My meats, the chicken was cold. Well, first when he came out with the plate, sorry, back up here. When he first came out, it had meatloaf on it. I said, I didn't order meatloaf. I wanted the country fried chicken. Now, I don't complain. I'm the type of person that really will kind of bite the bullet and just be, smile. But no, I mean, the meatloaf, it came out with meatloaf. I told him to take it back, get me the chicken. And so when he came back out with it, which was only a couple seconds later, so that didn't have any time to cool down them dumplings, because the dumplings are in a bowl. Okay, it's ceramic bowl, it would hold the heat. I went and took a bite of the noodle, and I'm like, oh God, it's freaking cold. I'm like, cold food? So I touched the chicken because he just brought that out, so I was like, touched the chicken with my finger, and I'm like, and then I put my hand on it, and I'm like, my potatoes are cold, my chicken's cold, the noodles are cold. My wife's like, you know what, my food's cold too. She goes, well, I just wasn't going to say anything. And I said, no, you're not to eat that. If your food's cold, I said, I'm going to go. She goes, I'll go get the manager. Because she knows how I am. I am not the type that messes around. My wife's more she knows how to handle people. Where I'm more hey, listen, this is what, because, you pay good money for food. When you go out to eat, you pay for not just the service, but you're paying for the food. And it's expensive to eat out these days, right? So, I'm not going to just sit here and like pretend that my food's okay. And no. So my wife went and got the manager. Manager came back and she was like, "So your food's cold?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Touch it." And she's like, "Well, I don't want to touch it." I said, "Well, I don't want it." I said, I said, I said, "I don't want this food." I said, "I just don't want it." And she goes, "Well, I can go get more. I can go." And this is what the exact words was. "I can go nuke it for you." Well, no, I don't want my food nuked. I mean, do I have a reason to complain? Write down below and tell me, did I overreact on it? But seriously, I mean, when you nuke it, well, heck, I can go to Walmart and buy a freezer meal and go stick it in the microwave, and it would taste better. Nuke it. That really just, And I was like, no, just take it and take it off my bill. So the fried pickles came out just at that time, and she's like, "Is the pickles hot?" And I was like, I took a bite, and I was like, almost burnt my mouth. I was like, "No, see, this is how my food should be, piping hot." So, needless to say, she decided to take it off. There was people sitting over here, and the gentleman goes, "Excuse me, sir," and I said, turn around, and I said, "Yeah." He said, "Was your food cold?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, our food was cold too." And I said, "Oh, okay." So the same guy that came out with our food was helping them get their check, and the manager came back around and said, "By the way, I took that off. Don't worry about it. The pickles are free also." And I said, "Well, you didn't have to take the pickles off." She goes, "No, I took the pickles off." My wife's food, she got more food ordered because she was hungry. And I told the manager, I said, "Their food was cold too." She turned around, "Was your food cold?" "Yeah, but it's fine. Don't worry about it." We managed through it. She goes, No. I apologize." She goes, "I don't know what's going on back there." I'm like, "Well, you're the manager of the restaurant. You should be on this stuff. Food temp, that's just not safe." I don't understand how people would sit there and pay, I know that with my dinner, it would have been, and her dinner, because it was 30 for her meal, and it would have been with the fried pickles. I think the fried pickles were 6 something, and it was a big basket, so that was a good deal with that. And if I had kept my meal, we're looking at $60 a meal. So yeah, I mean, no, I'm not paying for something that is cold. I don't believe it. First of all, that's how people get food poisoning. I don't want my food sitting around being cold. And second of all, the dumplings, I could see the chicken maybe being cold or whatever, but the chicken dumplings cold? I'm sure that's in like some kind of container, not a plastic container, but like a metal container. It goes down into a thing, and it's got water in it, and heats it, and keeps it hot, piping hot. I don't know. Service at Cracker Barrel, I won't go back to Cracker Barrel. I have that gift certificate, and I won't be using it. I'll probably use it as a gift for someone next year for Christmas. I know that sounds bad, but I really don't. No. After that experience, I'm done with Cracker Barrel. I'm sorry. No. I used to love Cracker Barrel, and my wife doesn't like Cracker Barrel. She doesn't care for Cracker Barrel at all. Which is funny why our kids got the Cracker Barrel gift card for us, because we have talked about it over the year that we don't like Cracker Barrel. We just don't care for the food, and yeah, so it was funny that we got one for Christmas. But it's a gift, and it's the thought that counts. That's what we've always taught our kids, and taught Carmen, that it's not the gift. Sometimes it's just the thought of getting a gift. Ugh. So Sunday we'll have a good message. I will be getting on that. This week has been just a catch up. I had several messes out here in the barn that had to be cleaned up because our farm sitter did a good job. There was just some hiccups here. Just kind of told us that, or I should say, told me that I can't leave the farm unintended. Um, because it is a lot of responsibility. Like my wife doesn't understand it a lot. She thinks that I sit out here and watch TV and drink Pepsi or whatever. Um, and yes, there is sometimes that I do that. You know, I do sit out here after I get done with my chores. But chores usually take about an hour and a half of time to do the chores from start to finish. Usually takes about an hour and a half. And we're adding goats onto it, so that's probably going to be another half hour. So we're looking at 2 hours doing animals. You know, some people can come in here and say, "Oh, that's easy. I can do that." Wham, bam, 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 boom, bam. No, that's not how it gets done. You know, so. But we were glad that we got to get out of town for a little bit. Got to go to our daughter's. My wife couldn't believe it. She, because I was thinking about it, because we had gone. I can't believe that they'd been down there that long. Let's see here. Let me make sure I'm correct here. While I was saying it, twice at their house, once at the hotel, once at the hotel, 4 times. So they've been down there for, I think, 5 years. Well, no, he's 6, so 6 years, because he was born down there. So yeah, it'd be 6 years they'd been there. And actually, it might have been 7 years. It's either 6 or 7 years they've been down there. So. But we've been thankfully that they are so close that 6-hour drive. It's a day drive down and a day drive down, or for them to come up here, it's only a 6-hour drive, or 6-hour drive. So yeah, got everything done this week so far. Like I said, today's Wednesday. Tomorrow will be Thursday. Thursday, I'll probably be starting to get the house clean. My wife starts back on, she'll be starting her manager training on Saturday. Or no, she's off Saturday. Is it Friday? Well, maybe. I can't remember. She'll be starting her managing training really soon, I should say. I think it's Sunday she starts. I don't know. I don't know what day it is. This weekend, oh my gosh, people. For majority of the South, us as well, the East Coast, we are looking at some major storm, aren't we? Weather, I should say, a weather event. We're going to see some really brutal temperatures. Like I said, today's the warm-up period, and then starting tomorrow, we go back down to the teens. And then Friday all the way through Monday is going to be blistering cold, snow. Yeah, it's just going to be all around just miserable. People like our daughter and her husband and the grandkids, they will probably lose power because it's going to be a total ice event down there in Tennessee area. Yeah, that's not going to be good for them if they lose their power. But they do have a fireplace. They can use fire to keep warm, so that'll be good. And if they had to, I guess they could go to the military base. The way I understand it, they could go over there and stay until their electrics turn back on. Well, that's pretty much it for just to bring you up to speed what's been going on. And like I said, we thank you for praying for us, because I did ask for prayers for our trip. I didn't give you exactly what day we were leaving on. But since this weather gets back to somewhat normal, I got a lot of work to do. My wife was talking last night. She's, "Hey, you know something you haven't done yet?" And I'm like, it's hard to say. What haven't I done yet? And she's like, "Well, because we have in our pantry area, and I think I talked about this in another video, it's got some mold growing up on the ceiling because it's not insulated at all." And I said, "Yeah, I know." I said, "I got to do the raised beds. I got to do the mower deck." I said, "By the time I get this mower deck done, it'll be time to put it back on." because this weather it's not been working. You know, it's too cold to go outside and work. I mean, unless you got to. I mean, I could do it, and I have, you know, cut a bunch of wood before we left, and yeah, it's just been one of them crazy winters where not much is, you know, you can do much, you know, because of the temperature wise. You know, if you got chainsaws and stuff like that, they just, unless they're designed, you know, like if I had a nice steel farm boss, yeah, I mean, it can handle the cold temperatures and stuff like that, but when you got something like I do, it's kind of finicky. Trust me, I want to get out here and get these stuff cut up before spring sets in. But yeah, we've just been seeing a lot more wind, and like right today it's windy out. That brings the temperature down. I don't know what the wind chill is going to be like today. I know they said by afternoon we're going to go into a wintry mix, sleet, ice, snow. Yeah, the whole Mother Nature just throwing her temper tantrum this year. The river's frozen over. So yeah, that's how cold it is outside. Like the rabbits' water bottles, I've been having to take them in and defrost them in the microwave. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We had a great trip. We thank you for all the prayers. We thank you for following along with us. You know, I'm sorry that there's not much of other kind of videos coming out from our channel. You know, I do these updates on the family and updates of what's going on here on the farm. But like I said, it's just, as you can see, even with the heat on in here, it's still a little nippy. It's just a little bit nipply. If I didn't have my long johns on, I'd have my big coat on. When you see the big coat out, you know it's cold. But yeah, we had a great time. Just a great time, and we thank you to our daughter-in-law and our son-in-law and for having us down there and you know, just we have a great time. We have a great family that we have, and we're lucky to have them, and we just ask you to lift them up, lift everyone up in your prayers who will be going through this weather event coming up here in the next couple of days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, possibly Monday. So just be with everyone during this time of need. Well, as we say right here on the farm, peace, love, and joy comes from knowing our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We all hope you have a blessed Wednesday. Hump, hump day, hump day. But yeah, we pray, we just ask you to keep us in your prayers. We keep you all in our prayers. And by the way, I keep forgetting to do it, but if you don't mind hitting that bell up there, that way you can get updates. I can get updates. That also helps with you letting you know that if you hit that subscribe button, it lets you know that we got new videos out. All right. Well, try to stay warm. Drink plenty of hot cocoa, plenty of orange juice. Keep the colds off, and just have a wonderful rest of the week. And I will see you on Sunday for inspirational video. All right, love y'all. Get on out of here. I gotta go. Have a great day.
We have Rita Rice. We have Ariana Roger. We have Maria Strazico. We have Bridget Venegas Alberto. We have Delaney Williams. All right, now we're going to have our leadership awards. Cheers on others. We have DeAnthony Brown and Tina Tribb. have looks people in the eye. We have Jaden Claiborne and Julian Fisher. We have respectful to all. We have Elijah Cunningham and Amelia Hinch.
Yeah!
And we have response to an adult. We have Logan.
Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Good job.
Happy birthday, Bubba. Good job, buddy. Now we're going to open your gifts. Daddy, you want to give him